Welcome to Ancient Wisdom Daily. Today, we're looking at an ancient concept that sounds entirely backwards: Memento Mori, remember you must die. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius ruled the known world, yet every day he deliberately meditated on his own death. He didn't do this out of depression or fear. He used it as a psychological tool to force himself to actually live. Stick around until the end of the video, because his private journals contain a single sentence that puts the next 24 hours into a very different light. Let me ask you right now, drop a comment below. Does thinking about your own expiration date motivate you, or does it just scare you? Modern culture treats death like a taboo. We hide from it. We act like we have infinite time. But by refusing to look at the finish line, we actually strip ourselves of the urgency required to make the race mean anything at all. When you believe you will live forever, it is incredibly easy to let your ego fixate on trivial nonsense. We stress over awkward emails and get furious in traffic because we act like our supply of minutes is limitless. The ancient Romans understood this danger perfectly. When a military general returned from a massive victory, he was paraded through the streets in a chariot. The crowds worshipped him. For that day, he was basically a god. But right behind him, standing in that exact same chariot, was a single slave with one specific job. For the entire procession, the slave would continuously whisper in the general's ear, "Look behind you. Remember you are mortal. Remember you must die." Even at the absolute peak of human glory, the ego was grounded by reality. Pause right now. If a doctor told you today was your last day, what specific arguments, worries, or grudges would you drop immediately? Success and comfort trick us into feeling invincible. A constant, humbling reminder of our own expiration date strips away the arrogance and forces us to focus on what actually matters. Okay, but why would I want to obsess over dying? Doesn't walking around thinking about funerals all day just make you miserable? It's a fair question, but Memento Mori is not about fatalism. It is not about walking around in existential despair. It is a lens. It cuts through the noise and forces your actual priorities into sharp focus. Think of life like a prepaid debit card, but the expiration date is scratched off. You know the balance is going down, but you have no idea when the card gets declined. When you finally check that balance, your behavior shifts instantly. You stop spending your precious minutes arguing with automated customer service, and you start making the calls you actually care about. The Roman philosopher Seneca wrote extensively on this in his moral letters to Lucilius. You can listen to his meditations on mortality right now on Audible, the perfect audio companion for confronting the reality of time. The ego thrives on the illusion of infinite time. It cannot play the victim when the clock is ticking loudly. Acknowledging your expiration date starves the ego of its favorite drama. This brings us to gratitude. Facing your mortality doesn't generate grief. It generates a fierce, immediate appreciation for the people right in front of you. The Stoic teacher Epictetus gave his students a piece of advice that sounds incredibly harsh today. He told them that when they kiss their child goodnight, they should silently remind themselves that the child might not wake up tomorrow. Modern parents instinctively recoil at that thought. It feels too dark. But Epictetus wasn't trying to be cruel. He was providing a method to collapse the distance between seeing someone and actually valuing them. If you truly internalize that this might be the very last time you ever see someone, you skip the petty arguments. You put the phone down, you look them in the eye, and you love them fiercely. Death doesn't make our relationships pointless. The absolute, undeniable boundary of time is the exact mechanism that gives our love its urgency, its value, and its meaning. So, how do we take this from a lofty philosophical theory and turn it into something we use on a Tuesday morning? The Stoics had a specific morning routine called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Before checking messages or starting work, they mentally rehearsed the difficulties, the annoying people, and the setbacks they would inevitably face that day. Then they took 30 seconds to run a mental check. If today were my last day on Earth, would I spend it doing what I'm about to do? Would I spend it worrying about the meeting I'm stressing over? So the point isn't to live in a cemetery, it's to stop treating a Tuesday like it's guaranteed. Exactly. In our modern, relatively safe world, we don't have to worry about gladiator battles or plagues. So high-performing entrepreneurs, writers, and artists often carry physical reminders, like Memento Mori medallions or coins in their pockets, to artificially generate that urgency. Safety breeds complacency. We start thinking things will always go our way. Using death as a daily psychological tool is the required engine for maintaining true ambition and building a legacy. If the idea of Memento Mori is hitting you a little differently than you expected, hit that like button right now. Death is the cap at the end of the bottle. Without that cap, the contents spill out endlessly and lose their shape. The limit is what gives the life inside its value. It is the great inescapable equalizer. Kings or peasants, brilliant or foolish, it comes for everyone, eventually stripping away all earthly status and wealth. Philosopher voice. Marcus Aurelius wrote this note directly to himself in his private journal. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Normal voice. Thank you for watching Ancient Wisdom Daily. If you found value here, subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow, we're breaking down the exact Stoic framework for destroying daily anxiety. The clock is ticking loudly right now. The balance is gone down. It is time to start actually living.